I think before I start I should mention for context that I was 5 years old when Pokemon first hit my TV in the 90s, and I knew the original Red and Blue Game Boy releases inside out. In fact, there was a time I could recite the Gen 1 Pokédex from memory and tell you where any given Pokemon was and which version you needed to get it. Kids on the playground used to come to me for Pokemon advice before they learned how to use the internet. I haven't followed it ever since exactly. I had a play of Gold, got back into it around Black and White time, and now take the odd Pokemon walk with Pokemon Go, so yeah, I guess you could say I know a little bit about Pokemon and have a vested interest in whether or not this film is good. Okay, I think that's enough context. The first thing I have to say in regards to this movie is what a time to be alive. The fact of this film's very existence is a marvel in and of itself to me. If you'd have told me, even a year or two ago, that we'd be getting a live-action Pokemon movie of any sort set in something close to the real world, and not only would it be a good time, but it would also star Ryan Reynolds as a Pikachu, I'd have told you that whatever you're on, I want some. But wouldn't you know it, exactly that ended up happening. So as you've probably guessed by now, I quite liked Detective Pikachu. I won't spoil anything in this review, but I do have to say that seeing Bill Nighy talk so enthusiastically and straight-faced about Pokemon is worth the ticket price on its own. The film puts me in mind somewhat of the old Scooby-Doo movies in terms of tone, but in the best possible way. This is the real world, but with Pokemon in it. And on that note, you really should bring a bingo card of some sort, because there are a lot of fun cameos by a lot of different Pokemon. The story is a pretty straightforward mystery plot, and the film seems to lean pretty heavily on the presence of Pokemon to be the main distinguishing feature there. Indeed, there are one or two swerves the story takes that are very uniquely Pokemon, but I like that about it. If you're not initiated in the lore of Pokemon in any way, that's not a deal breaker, but I feel like you'll miss out on some of the fun. Even taken independently of the fandom, this is a perfectly serviceable movie, but fortunately it's one that knows its audience. You're here first and foremost because it's a Pokemon movie, and maybe because Ryan Reynolds is voicing a Pikachu. There is an in-movie explanation for that, by the way, that's all I'm saying. Justice Smith has pretty good chemistry with Pikachu Ryan Reynolds, who, I'll be honest, I was worried was going to invoke a little too much Deadpool here, but no, he doesn't. His Pikachu is a little sarcastic, but also innocent and naive. And what else should Pikachu be? There are also some emotional gut punches that'll have you forgetting he's CGI. On the human side, Justice Smith has some good comic timing of his own, though since he's rarely separate from Pikachu, he doesn't get that many chances to show it. But what he does get, he makes good on. Catherine Newton gives a good turn as Lucy, the aspiring reporter with a Psyduck sidekick. I do kinda wish they'd used the Psyduck voice I remember from the old TV show though, but that's just me. Bill Nighy is, well, Bill Nighy. If you know his work, you know what to expect, and he doesn't disappoint. The way the Pokemon are brought to life has a little uncanny valley here or there, but in at least one case I can think of, that actually worked in the favour of the film. And when it didn't, any Pokemon not voiced by Ryan Reynolds won't be on screen for long enough for it to be a problem anyway. Pokemon Detective Pikachu is one for the fans in every respect, but not in the way studios say that when they know they've just made a bad film. This is for the fans in the good way, in the best way possible. If you don't know your Pokemon, I imagine it's still enjoyable, though you might be a little lost, but if you do, I think you'll find this film every bit as good as the trailers made it look. It's an 8 out of 10 from me. The story's not winning any awards, but it's a lot of fun, and you should definitely check this out.